So without further ado, I believe that we can get started. So one of the first things that I want to ask you is, obviously you've seen the way I've done this with other people, but would you be okay if I went back and saved what we talk about so that I can put it in Discord for anyone else to watch?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you have my consent.
Okay, great. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. Right out the gate, first thing is first. To anyone who may be uninitiated, do you mind introducing yourself with either your alias, your real name, or just generally who you are?
Oh, sure, yeah. So my name is LXPU. I'm also known as Lapu. I used to be a Mario Tennis streamer. That's how I met James. It's been a while. It's been since like 2019 that I've been like in the Mario Tennis Aces scene. But in 2020 I stopped playing. So I've been streaming for over 10 years, but very inconsistently. Some people know me for being one of the last players on the Mario Kart Wii servers, and some people from the agar.io game, you know, that web browser game where it's like just orbs where you just like collect little orbs here and there, and then you become like a big, yeah. So that game, some people know me from that era, and then Mario Tennis, of course, which is pretty much everyone that knows me here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am 24 years old. I am graduated from university as an accountant, and I've been working for the grand total of 8 months at this point. I started fresh without knowing what I do, and so far it's been going well. I mean, it's tax season, so you probably know how it's going right now. Everything's busy and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
Fantastic. Yeah. I don't think I've ever said so in any previous interview, but yes, I as well am an accountant, which is why I found it interesting when you were initially talking about that. It's crazy. You said 8 months now?
Yep, we're right now at 8 months.
Wow, pops, dude. That's crazy. That's so awesome, though. Very glad to hear. Very good. Okay, thank you for that brief introduction. So let me go ahead and get started with some of these questions here. Very rudimentary right out the gate. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite color, Lapu?
That would be green, and I'm unsure why. It's just like natural. Like to me, I see green, and it makes me happy. Like I got green eyes, and that doesn't affect why I like it.
Okay.
But like I don't know, just green is like a beautiful color. It fits with everything except for cars. I think green cars looks weird.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, overall, just green is like a good color. And besides that, you know, blue would be my second pick, but green is definitely like I love green. If I could have anything green, it's fine. Oh, and I also drink 7-Up every day, so like it's the green can, and you know, I get reminded.
Oh wow, do you really? Is your 7-Up consumption actually pretty high?
Pretty bad, yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not proud about.
All right, nope. I mean, no problem. I mean, you like what you like. Can't fault you for it. Okay, so Lapu, what would you say is your favorite time to eat like a meal? Would it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Absolutely not breakfast, because I feel like well, it depends in which context, right? So, you know, in a working context, morning breakfast I think is not the way to go. Definitely like a lunch break type stuff. I think that's like more preferable. But if we're talking like a casual, just weekend type meal, definitely the evening. I think it's just, you know, you're just relaxing, and then you have time to prepare the meal during the afternoon, and then, you know, it takes an hour or two, and then you get to enjoy your meal. And I think evening meals are pretty nice, you know, because the sun goes down a bit and the temperature is cool, and it's just I think preferably it's the evening that takes the cake here.
Yeah, for sure. No, fair enough. Would you say that you have a favorite dinner meal, like one item specifically?
You know, I used to be a big fan of lasagna, but my opinion has changed over the years. It's very inconsistent, because sometimes I'll be like, well, lobster rolls are pretty good, and then I'll start eating them a bit, and then I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this. It's not my favorite meal anymore.
I see.
And then I'm like, all right, let me eat some poutine. Oh my god, poutine is good, but I'm like, do I really consider this as my favorite one though? So when I think about it, I don't really have a specific like preferred meal. I just like bad food. I just like bad food. But if I were to pick one, I would say like shepherd's pie is definitely up there. Yeah,
Ooh,
shepherd's pie.
wow. Is that really that bad for you though, shepherd's pie?
Yeah, I don't know about it, but it's just so good. I don't know. Every time I eat it, I never like, oh, this is annoying to eat. You know, I
Oh,
love
I
it.
see, I see, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely some good stuff for sure, for sure. All right. Um, Let me ask you, what consumes most of your free time currently? So let's just say like when you're done with work and stuff like that.
Uh, you're not gonna like this one.
That's okay.
I spend a lot of time playing VR. More specifically, VR chat.
Okay. No
Yeah.
problemo. What is the strongest appeal of VR chat for you?
The strongest appeal? Good question. I think it's due to the lack of socializing at work
Hmm.
because I work in a closed office, but I mean we're still like in a small building. So think about it like a two-story building,
Hmm.
and main floor is like the reception and stuff, and some closed office that are empty. And second floor is where everyone's at. But we're all in our closed office with our doors open, but we don't really communicate a lot.
Oh.
So I see VRChat as an outlet for me to be able to express myself, just like to talk to people, just to socialize. That's the main drive of me going there, because at times, I live in a different time zone than everyone,
Yeah.
and it's like a little bit ahead of the rest of the US and Canada.
Hmm.
So for me to be able to hang out with people at very specific times, I have to plan myself, and I can just go in VRChat and not plan anything. I can just hop on there, and then someone's gonna be there for sure, and I can
Yeah.
just talk with them, hang out, and that's definitely the main appeal. Socializing, 100%.
Yeah. No, and that makes complete sense. Forgive me if I for some reason just was not paying attention when you first said so, but you did mention time zone. For anyone who doesn't know, what is your country of origin?
Canada.
Oh, okay. I see, I see, I see. And then, were you ever someone who spent time in Europe, or am I completely mistaken?
No, I've never went to Europe.
Oh, okay.
I've been born and raised, and I've been living here since 1999.
Ah, I see. Okay. Cool, cool. Um, all right. Yeah, no, that's a very fair reason behind wanting to spend your time with that. And at first you say like, oh, you're not gonna like this answer. And it's like I don't really have any strong judgment towards it because like you said, I think your reasoning is a lot of reasoning that people share, where it's like you really just want that social interaction, which I think after how you described your office makes complete sense. Because I mean, I go into the office as well. My setup appears to be a little bit different, where I am like sitting beside someone. I wouldn't be able to like we're not close enough to where like I can like reach out and like touch them. They're not like that close. But it's certainly more in like an open space. And you said that you're in like your own little office room
Yeah, like a
and you have it to
cubicle.
yourself.
Yeah,
I
I'm alone
see.
there.
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes complete sense. I don't know how I'd feel about that setup. I feel like it would definitely be a bit draining for me. Draining in the sense that it's like lonely.
I guarantee you it is, because and my boss keeps telling me like, just talk to people, and I'm like, well, how do you want me to talk? I gotta work. I'm here to work. I'm not here to socialize. And
Yeah.
then she's just like, just say like two, three things to them, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm very young and they're older than me. We have
Yeah.
like a generational gap,
Yeah.
so my interests are different. So me trying to socialize with anyone in the office is tough at times, because obviously I'm not very well. I would say I'm somewhat social, but
Hmm.
I don't speak if I don't have anything to say per se. I don't like to force conversation. I like
Yeah.
to make it more natural, and if I really want to talk, well, oh, there you go. I have something to say and I say it. So something that I can relate with them or whatever. So most of the time I just stay in my office. I listen to music with my earphones, and I go eat. I go eat outside, and I go out at, like in town just to go take some takeout somewhere.
Hmm.
So I don't really get to see anyone at all, and
Oh.
sometimes it gets lonely, but that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand you with the generational gap thing. When I was first working in Southern California, my first job as an accountant, it was the exact same way. I fortunately had one other coworker who was a bit closer to my age, but besides him, yeah, everyone was well older than me. So having small talk was weird. It just didn't. It almost feel like it just didn't make sense. It's like there's no reason for us to talk. And then obviously I definitely got better at that. When I first began working there, I was definitely a bit more reserved. But then the nature of the job kind of did force me to have to talk with other people. So I did have that benefit for myself where it's like, oh yeah, like I do need to talk to others. I can't just like completely be by myself. But no, I get what you're saying. It's not easy, or rather, it's a lot easier said than done to be like, hey, just socialize a little bit more.
Ah, dude, I wish I could. I wish I could just go and just say the most random stuff to anyone, even if it just doesn't make any sense and it would like go along. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just wish I could be able to talk to them and not be pressured by my boss that's like on my tail, like, hey, you gotta talk more to everyone. I
Aw.
know, but I just don't know what to say. Like every morning, I go to the secretary, because she's on my path, to go to my
Yeah.
office. So I look at her and I speak with her, and I'm like, oh, how's your son doing?
Yeah.
Does he have any hockey games this weekend? And she's like, oh, well, 2 games Saturday. I'm like, that's gonna be annoying. Gonna have to drive there.
That's
Like,
funny.
I just don't know what to say. It's so awkward. And she doesn't help because she kind of makes it awkward as well.
Oh
Because
no.
she doesn't like not engage in the conversation. She doesn't like develop the conversation. So it kind of like stalls, and then we just like
Hmm.
awkwardly like laugh, and then
I
we try to move
see.
on to another topic, and it doesn't work. I just say, all
Oh
right, I'm gonna go to my
man.
office.
Oh my goodness. Dang, that is tough. That's tough. But I mean, at least you have VR chat as a little bit of an outlet to satiate that. Um, so that's good to know at the very least.
Yeah, it's definitely there, especially in the down times, because when I get back from work, it's like 6 o'clock for me,
Hmm.
and nobody's here. So
Oh,
until
I
like
see.
9 o'clock my time. So I'm just here for like a good 3-4 hours. I'm like, there's nothing to do. I don't feel incited to play video games. I just want to lay there and just don't do anything.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. It can definitely be draining. Just going to work, even if like you're not doing anything physically demanding, like going into an office, it's still definitely draining. It's just a different type of exhaustion for sure. So you have my
How
sympathies.
No, it's fine. Thank you, thank you. I've almost had like 2 mental breakdowns since I've started working,
Oh
and they're
man.
not even for the socialization part. It's just like the work environment. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was bad at one point. There's a point like right when March started. That's where tax season like kicked off. Right, last week of February. That's like where everyone's like, okay, we're hold on. Okay, we're buckling our seatbelt. And
Yeah.
when March started and I was forced to start doing 45 hours a week, that that was rough because I was
Hmm.
already fine with 37 and a half, and I was already like complaining about the fact that I work a lot. I felt like
Yeah.
37 and a half. I could have done like 35 and I would have been better because I got an hour of commute every day, and I don't eat at the office. I go out in town, so
Hmm.
I'm very limited in my free time. So I was like, okay, well, I'm home at 6. I gotta go sleep at 11. I only have like 5 hours. That's to do everything that I need to do personally. So I was not happy at 37 and a half. And then I got put on 45, which I'm still ongoing. There's one more week remaining.
Hmm.
So on 45 hours, I don't know how people do it. I mean, I've like, basically, I was in denial at the beginning. I was
Yeah.
crying and I was
Oh.
very angry. And I literally screamed at my mom. And I never do this, but I was like at my tipping point. I was about to just like, I don't know what I was gonna do, but I don't know. I was really, really mad. but then I kind of just suck it up. I
Yeah.
just, I just like I try to convince myself like it's gonna be fine, you know. It is what it is. 2 months, you've already done worse. You went lobster fishing for 4 years. You did 2 months every day for 4 years, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like it's 45 a week for 2 months. It ain't gonna be bad.
Mm.
And then I started looking at the positive, right? Like all these extra hours I'm doing. Well, I can have like more vacations in a sense. Like I worked harder, but those extra hours go into vacations. So the whole month of May, I'm gonna have every Friday off.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm gonna have a 4-day week for a whole straight month, and on the 22nd we have a holiday. So I'm gonna have 4-day weekend at one point. So it's very ideal the way that I've set myself up
Yeah.
for the month of May. So it's gonna be a nice like fresh of a breath of fresh air, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
able to relax and just be like, okay, I need this time, and then we kick it back in June. Because those are the when you have a year end in December, you know, June is like your last month you can file your taxes and stuff.
Mhm.
So May is gonna be like the calm before the storm again with June.
Oh,
And
okay.
after that, I'm gonna be able to have like a 3-week vacation. So that was my main motivation in like keeping working and keeping my sanity at a reasonable pace
Mhm.
instead of just like crying like the first week of overtime. I was trying to look at the good side of it.
Yeah, and that definitely is some good right there. It's definitely this weird with accounting sometimes in busy season. It's definitely this weird roller coaster where it's like you know that you're gonna be going through hell for a certain amount of time, but as long as you see the light at the end of the tunnel, which for you it seems like that's already kind of set in stone, it definitely makes it worth it. It definitely makes it a lot easier to get through. I mean, it's certainly still a struggle when it's happening, but um, I think what you were saying, where it's like, you know, telling yourself it's going to be okay. You're right. It will be okay. Um, you know, the current situation might not be grand, and certainly you did not feel that good at some points. But you know, once you get through this, I think there's a certain level of character development that will be there, and you'll be able to, if you so happen to stay in the same place or the same career, that you'd be able to tackle next year's busy season with that much more ease. So I think you're setting yourself up well.
I'm definitely concerned about the career choices at the moment though. Even though you just mentioned like if I want to like keep doing this, I'm concerned about that
Mm.
because I don't know what I want to do. Because you know you're in private, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I've been doing public this whole time, and or at least I think it's public. I'm pretty sure it's public. You know, I do auditing for businesses.
Yes, correct. You'd be
Okay,
public.
okay, there you go. Yeah. So to me, this is like it's fine. I love what I'm doing, but do I want to sacrifice 2 years of my life to get my chartered professional accounting degree? That's where I'm sitting right now. Because
Mm.
I can choose, right? I can sacrifice 2 years of my young period and then be stress free for monetary reasons for the rest of my life. Or I can stay the way I am and I'm gonna suffer through a few years of being poor until I can somewhat make a decision to like get out of my house and just have like a normal but not crazy income. Because obviously with your CPA, you're gonna have a way better income. You know, I've seen what the difference is, and it's actually crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's a good amount. So I can be driven by the money, but I'm not. So that's
Mm.
why I'm getting this. Do I really want to sacrifice 2 years when I'm 24? And it's a very big debate because, yeah, you just sacrifice 2 years and then you're good forever. Hey, that sounds like a good deal. But that's 2 years of in my quote unquote prime time where I'm free to do like anything that I want and I'm physically able to and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not any limitations per se. So to me, my philosophy about this is like enjoy as much as I can now and just relax later. So I want to do most of my things now that I'm young and I can do it.
Yeah.
than to wait until I'm like 50 or 60, and by that time I'm gonna be not in the best physical state, I would assume, and like not in a I wouldn't want to do what I want to do right now. I'm gonna miss out on things.
Mm.
And that's what I've learned, is especially since like 2020, since coronavirus hit.
Yeah.
I've had this mentality where I'm like, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to prevent myself from doing stuff. So I don't think I want to do my professional degree right now. I don't think I will, because auditing with the professional degree, it's going to be very difficult. One, to get it, and two, the workload that's going to come afterwards.
Yeah.
And not that I don't like doing hard work, I prefer more of the mundane task.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it, but like doing bookkeeping and filing taxes, I would prefer that over doing like crazy huge auditing stuff.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm definitely accustomed to just doing like things that are mundane. Like I wouldn't want like to tack on such high responsibility, even if it meant like a good old pay raise. It's like, nah, dude, just let me crunch some numbers and that's it. But one thing you said, or one thing that you were kind of going off about for a little bit there was like having the opportunity to do things that you want to do during this time in your life right now. Which sets us up for this next question, which is there a hobby that you want to have but you have not engaged in yet?
Oh god, my boss asked me what hobbies I had, and I couldn't even tell her what I have, because all I do is I play fucking VR chat. Oh, sorry if I'm swearing. I don't know if I can swear, but
Yeah, no, you're fine.
okay. Yeah, it's hard for me to have a hobby when I don't go outside. I'm not strict on my money, but I don't spend my money. If I do spend it, it's for things that I want. Like and it usually tends to be like triple to like quadruple digit expenses.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I don't really spend a lot, so I don't go outside and I don't do anything, but when I buy something, it's a lot. So I don't know. Aside from like biking, I think so I don't even know. Biking was like one of my favorite hobby to do, especially like um not last summer, but the summer before. So the summer of 2021.
Right.
Yeah, summer of
Yeah.
2021. That summer I was biking like every like 2 to 3 days. I would go with my best friend and we would go biking. I had a lot of fun. We would go for like 50 kilometers, which is like 30 miles a run, basically.
Wow,
Yeah, it takes like with a hybrid bike, not even a road bike, which was crazy. I don't even know how I did this. I had a hybrid, and it was like, oh my god, it was painful. Because as soon as it was an incline, with a road bike, it goes pretty easy, it's just like it's smooth as butter. But with a hybrid, you gotta really like force, and if you don't, you're just gonna suffer even more. So like I loved biking a lot because it made me go outside, made me socialize actually, because I was obviously talking with my friends that I don't really get to see much. And of course, physical exercise, socializing, and just being well mentally, it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
But I acquired a road bike last year, and I didn't get to use it because I was busy. I don't know. I think I was just too lazy to do anything and broke, so I just didn't use it. And I sold the bike to my dad. So I don't have a bike anymore. And I really want a bike again because I've gotten in a bad physical shape because of work. Because I don't.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't do anything. I don't do any physical exercise anymore. I don't work. I don't like walk to classes. I don't hang out with people. I don't do anything. I just walk to my car, walk to my office, and the same thing, but the opposite. I go to my car and then home. So no exercise, and I really, really want to bike again, but I just can't. I just don't have any time for it.
Yeah, I mean, especially right now, you say that you have like different work hours, and so it's definitely hard to make that work. But I think when you're not during busy season, it really is a matter of drive and how passionate you are in doing other things. Because um, it's the case with like any 9 to 5 job where it's very easy to like go into work and just kind of do your thing just to get back home and just relax. You know, just watch like a stream or a TV show. Kind of just like eat your dinner and call it a night where you're just like chilling. And then you feel as though you don't really have that much time because like you feel like the sense that you need to wind down, you know? This is like, okay, well, like I did my work for the day. Now I need to kick back. This is necessary. But you'll trap yourself into this idea where it's like the wind down is necessary when it really isn't. Relaxing is nice and it's helpful and it's healthy. But at some point you got to be like, if I want to do anything, then this relaxation period that I've set aside for myself cannot exist. Or my wind down for the end of the night needs to be a lot shorter. And this is something that I personally struggled with. My wind down of getting into bed or like just generally finally heading off to sleep would just take so long sometimes. And it definitely made it a lot more difficult for me to actually do things that I wanted to because then I drain myself with like less sleep, and now I'm even less motivated to do something productive the next day. So the adult life is just really a hard balancing act, and it's not easy, but you got to find something. For you, I know that it's a bit more difficult because of like your commute, and your commute also takes a good amount of time out of your day. But we got to squeeze in opportunities where we can.
I honestly hate adult life. I hate planning. Like I'm forced to plan, of course, but I just hate planning so much. I just like to be free and just do whatever and whenever, but I can't anymore. And you know, we've had this talk a little bit back, you know, that I think it was like one of those tipping points I've had, and I just talked in the Discord, and you know, a lot of people like share their own like opinions about it. And it's just like what you just said actually like made me rethink about how I think about this actually, because you're right, you know, the wind down, you know, I should be more aware of like setting time to like just be able to do more stuff and then still be able to relax, right? You know, balance everything. But that requires planning, and I don't want to plan more.
Yeah.
I already have to plan my weekends. My car is filthy, and I can't even plan myself to do like, okay, I gotta take some time out of my day to just clean it. Because I'm always going, especially especially right now. Now it's bad. Okay, now I really don't have any time.
Yeah.
But usually I can have a little time. I just don't want to plan. I'm too lazy to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, you have my sympathy for sure, because I'm kind of the exact same way. Getting my car washed is something that I'll acknowledge I need right now, and then it won't happen for like another 2 weeks. It's the same thing whenever I need a haircut. It will never happen the time that I actually wanted to. Even something like an oil change that I actually just got recently. It's like I actually wanted to get that done like a while back, but honestly, it's just laziness. But you do feel this sense of like, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And then if you were to actually take your week, right, and actually look at the amount of time you spent doing absolutely nothing, and I mean like just like scrolling on your phone of like social media, or like just watching YouTube videos or streams or whatever, like you'll see how much time you just wasted for really no particular reason other than just like feeling that need to relax. And so yeah, I mean, it's much easier said than done, because like I'm here telling you it's like, oh, there's a balancing act that you need to cross with, but it's like I struggle with that even now, and I've been doing this for longer than you have. So I will say that it's like it's not something that you'll just flip a switch and all of a sudden you'll get things figured out, but it's something that you actively work on, and you will get better at it as long as you keep yourself in the mindset. It's like, you know what, I want to try to do a little bit more. That balance will eventually become easier. And then some things will just be very intuitive, so you don't even need to think about it anymore. It's like this planning that you have to go through that you say is such a chore. A lot of times now, some of those planning things that right now take so much effort, is going to become second nature to you as you get a little bit older. So there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel in that sense. The responsibilities of being an adult definitely get less the more you go through it, because it's just like, yeah, that's just the way it is. And you don't really question it beyond that at that point.
You know, I'm gonna say it, and it is crazy for me to say, but video games are not helping me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. Video games are not helping me, and I've realized because I'm trying to spend most of my time not even playing, just being on my computer or just trying to maximize my time here. And I feel like I'm gonna sound like a boomer. It feels like it's not healthy. And I'm shocked to say this because I'm one that would always defend, like, hey, you know, video games are good for you. Video games, you know, you get to talk to your friends. It's pretty nice. You don't do anything dangerous to yourself. You're just playing games. And you know, I've always looked at video games in a more happy way. But the way you're reflecting, right? The way I'm hearing you say stuff, then I realized, yeah, I'm not planning my weekends right. And you know what the main culprit is? It's video games. That's the whole reason why I don't have any time, because I'm spending all my time in my room, in my 12 by 12 room. I'm always here. So at one point, this is the problem. It's not even the time, because I technically have time. I just don't manage it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of video games.
Yeah, and I mean, on that specifically, there are certainly people who have developed into careers and they still maintain the hobby of video games. But other people, they completely replaced it. For some people, they were really passionate at some point, and then all of a sudden it just dropped off. It just had no more bearing on their life. Some people kind of replaced it with like going to the gym. Other people replaced it with like getting to a relationship. And then it seems like for you, you may be needing to replace it just so that you feel a bit more productive in your week to week, you know, endeavors. You know, just to say it's like I was actually doing something. You know.
Yeah, like not sitting your ass at your computer and just playing, you know, you're going outside, you know, doing stuff, you know, something that have a positive change on you, you know, not just like staring at some screen, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And for some people, like, it's something where they need to completely eliminate it from their life. For some people, it's a limitation, so it's like something you just do in moderation. And for some people, they need to schedule themselves around being able to play video games because that's just what brings them still the most joy. So, I mean, it's person to person. There's no solution for everyone, which is why it's difficult to give people advice because, I mean, you don't know how they see things. You don't know their exact perspective. So you know yourself best. And so you should be able to recognize, okay, like I can either limit or completely eliminate it for the sake of doing this, this, and this. And it definitely seems as of right now that you're on the right track.
I'm definitely like trying to, I wouldn't say I'm limiting myself from video games per se, but I'm trying to like do other stuff because there was like this one period where I would really be always on VR chat. And it all stemmed from especially in October and November where I would stream the game. So that was like a time commitment where I would like stream a lot and I would always be on VR chat all the time.
I see.
And then like early this year, I was only playing VR chat afterwards. I wasn't playing any other games. So that was, I would go home, get on VR, and then don't do anything else. But recently, what I've been doing is I've been trying to limit myself from playing VR all the time. I'm actually trying to enjoy games and spending time with people that I actually talk a lot, or not even talk a lot, but my close friends, you know, just people that I'm familiar with more. And it's definitely helping because I'm not always like stuck with a fucking headset strapped in my face. You know, I'm actually enjoying myself.
Yeah.
But the next step, I wouldn't say to completely remove video games because I definitely need, you know, to have my daily dose of like just relaxing and being on my computer and games. But I have a girlfriend, man. That's the next step, man. Yeah, there's not like a million ways to just say it. I need that. Well, I say I need that. I don't need it, but I would it would be a welcome change.
I see. Yeah. I appreciate that alternative phrasing there. If you stuck with the first part, I would have I would have tried to convince you otherwise. Because yeah, something that's not necessary. And if you ever get to the point where you feel like you need it in order to feel better, oftentimes you won't really get that, and rather you'll just share some bad experiences with another person, and things ultimately won't get resolved. The best opportunities to get into a relationship is when you're already in a decent headspace and you're able to share this decent headspace with another person, and you guys kind of develop together. But anyway, that's a tangent. And we kind of went on a tangent for a little while now off of the course of these questions, but it definitely felt like it was a necessary discussion. So I'm glad that we were able to talk about that with you.
Yeah, I'm also glad because we get to people get to know more about how I think. You know, they're probably like, "Oh, he's stupid," and I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, now you see how I think." You know, it kind of it goes with a good thought, and then it derails, and you're like, "Okay, I'm getting kind of confused at this point." You know, it's like, okay, you're going off track too much, and your point is very confusing. You know, that's how I think. My brain starts with the good, and then confused at the end.
No, that's okay. Your line of thinking is completely valid because, you know, it's yours. And no one can tell you which way that you should be thinking, you know? So that you definitely won't get that from me at the very least. But with that being said, there are a couple more introductory questions that I have for you, but I kind of want to rapid fire through them. So if you have a quick answer, I gotta have you say it, and then we're gonna move on because they're all kind of related. So let me ask you: did you have a favorite? Oh wait, hold on. Did you have a favorite toy or game as a kid?
Nintendo 64, 100%.
Let's
Best
go.
thing ever.
Did you have a favorite TV show as a kid?
Definitely South Park. And
Nice.
that's weird to say because I was young, but I love South Park very, very much.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So, on the upcoming weekend, you could either spend the weekend at the beach, the weekend in the woods, or weekend playing video games. Which sounds the most appealing? This would be like
Video
with friends.
games.
Okay.
Video game, 100%. I don't care about the beach, the woods. That would be if it's a camping trip only.
Yeah.
But video games, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
There's not a time where I'm like, okay, this sucks. It's always fun.
I see. All right. No, fair enough. Fair reasoning. Would you say that you have a favorite animal or type of animal?
Oh yeah, cat, dude. Cat are the best. And I will say this until I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. Actually, no. Mike, he really likes dogs, and I will not ruin his. You know, dogs are fine, but I like cats.
I see. All right. Okay. With that being said, I'm gonna move on to some hypothetical questions here. The first off being related to what I just asked you. If you could be reincarnated as any animal, what animal would it be? Would it be a cat?
Oh, 100%.
Wowee. So you're just through and through. Cats are the best.
Yeah, but it's just like living as a cat. You're sitting your booty rent free in a house, and you're being pet. You're being given attention every day for free. You don't have to do anything, and visitors comes around and they just pet you. Like, wow, you know, I wish, and I don't have to pay for food. I don't have to pay for rent. I don't have to pay for fuel. I don't have any expenses. I just need to sit my ass down. I can watch the TV. Hey, I'm all in. I'm all in for it. And then I can, you know, I can just scratch like a little pose here and there.
Yeah. I like
Hey, life
that.
of a cat is awesome.
No, I mean, that makes sense. Cat fan through and through. I respect it. Okay, let me ask you this now, okay? Let's say that you could win big money if you could remain in a room with access to only one video game to keep you entertained for 21 days. Food and water supplied, so you don't even need to have to leave this room at all. But you can only choose one video game. Which one are you choosing?
Only 21 days. That's not a long time. Okay, so before I set a game, can the reward be multiplied depending on if I want to extend the challenge?
Ooh, great question. Sure. Let's say yeah.
All right. So let's say we're going for like a 90-day straight, right? 3 months. And
Yeah.
I can only play one game that I hope that I don't get bored.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, that makes it more of a stake because you don't want to play you don't want to play a game that's annoying, right? Like, you don't want to be stuck with Flappy Bird for 90 days. That would be pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Without looking at any game libraries, just
Hmm.
closing my eyes, I oh God. I gotta pick a good one because I'll say some contenders because
Okay,
you with my reasoning. I
sure.
would say Terraria, but Terraria, even though it's a fun game to play, it gets boring after a month. So that
Mm,
21 rule would be fine, but if it's 90, it's not doable.
I
So
see. I
to
see.
me,
Yeah.
Terraria is a no. League of Legends, same thing. 21 day would be fine, but a 90 would not be.
Yeah.
Um, Rocket League, same principle. 21 would be good, but wouldn't be good for 90. Um, oh, I think honestly, uh, Counter-Strike would take the cake,
Wow.
and I'm gonna
We.
explain why.
Okay,
And
sure.
because the base game is obviously a 5-on-5 shooter game,
Hmm.
but there are custom servers where you can just surf or b-hop and stuff, so you have
Oh,
more
yeah.
variety. So if I get bored, well, I don't have to switch games. I can stay on the game, but I can play other game modes that are because um well, because excuse me, like more game modes that are like still inciting to play. Because back in the day, I used to play a lot of surfing on Counter Strike.
Yeah.
Like I spent a whole summer just surfing. But there's periods where I just play the main competitive game. But having a mixture of both, I wouldn't get tired of the game because I like the game and I like to surf. Because when you surf, you can talk with people. So I'm just
Oh.
getting the best of both worlds. I play games and I talk to people for 90 days. Hey, that would be perfect.
I
Counter-Strike
see.
Global Offensive. That's my final answer.
Yeah. That's definitely an answer that I don't think anyone has really come close to. We had stuff like Terraria, stuff like Minecraft being said. But I completely forgot that CS:GO does have surfing. I remember I used to watch Tim the Tatman. He'd always start his stream with surfing. Um, and so yeah. Good pick, honestly. Hey, what's up, B? How's it going, friend? Okay. Next hypothetical question here for you, okay? You encounter and befriend an alien. They can either, one, supply unlimited services of a cook for 6 months, and you don't have to pay for the groceries. Two, work at your job for 6 months and do it exactly as you would, and they be like a clone of you, so no one would suspect it's not you. Or three, you have access to their spaceship for 6 months to take you anywhere on Earth, and you'll never be caught. You need to try to be sneaky with it.
I would definitely not pick the middle option. I think that would be like terrible because my ass probably gonna get laid off. So that's not good. So the second option, nah. Food service for 6 months. I don't think it's worth because I don't even cook food myself. So
Mm,
the alien would not be really helping per se. So it's not really like a valid reason for me to pick it because
mhm,
I don't
mhm.
need it. So definitely the third one. The third one is very appealing because I can just go anywhere, right? If I
Yeah.
want to see someone or I want to do something, well, I got the spaceship available to me and I can just go anywhere without getting caught. So not to be malicious, but just to be more of a convenience.
Yeah.
Definitely the spaceship, the third option.
Also, I guess since you complain about your commute, I guess you could technically take the spaceship to work. That'd be fine. You just get like almost teleported like into your office.
I know it's like boop. All right, 1 second, I'm there. You know that would be pretty awesome. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
that would be pretty sick. All right, I see you. I see you. Good answer. All right, let's move on to some more hypotheticals here. If I or anyone, but maybe me, were to take you out on a date, what are some things that would be crucial or very helpful to know? And by this, I'm trying to ask, do you have any icks, any like pet peeves that you have in people?
Good question. Good question. See, the thing about like getting to know someone, right, is you want to have like a base, right? So you wanna set the ground up, and you got to make sure that both parties are aware of what's the boundaries in communication. So I would definitely say that if you hide stuff or just don't tell me the proper things you're like thinking, or just you sometimes people like to lie
Hmm.
so that the other people don't feel as affected, or feel sad. I would rather you tell me the cold truth
Mm,
than to lie to make me happy.
I
I
see.
hate I hate when people lie to just make me happy. Like, no, just tell me. I need that communication.
Yeah.
And I was I was reading a bio off of someone. I don't know why I was, but I was reading a bio, and I've been like this for a good bit. My mentality is we need good communication because it's very important.
Hmm.
But the bio said communication is important, but comprehension is even more important.
Oh wow.
And that struck a bell in my head. I was like, that's right. I mean, you can communicate all you want, but if they don't understand, you're just talking to yourself.
Yep. Yeah.
So being able to like reflect and be like, okay, yeah, I see. Yes, okay, I understand. We should probably like talk like we should definitely like not hide stuff and actually go all with it, not just say it and be like just keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So communication is don't lie to me. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like that at all. And there's a second point I wanted to say. So don't lie and oh my god, I lost my train of thought. I talk about the comprehension and that freaked me up. I was gonna say something about communication as well. Um, oh,
Comprehension was a good point though. So worth mentioning. Worth mentioning.
yeah, I could come back to this one because I
Sure.
can't remember like what the other communication I wanted to talk about.
That's okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, if it comes to you, feel free to go back. That's not a problem.
yeah, sure, I'll do
Well,
that.
with that being said, let me just a couple more hypotheticals here. If you could be a successful musical artist in any music genre, which genre are you choosing?
Oh, which musical genre? So are we trying to be more successful so I can be rich, like like richer and like the quickest, like in the quickest manner, like, or just
This is just saying like you're guaranteed to be successful, like you're guaranteed to like make it, quote unquote.
okay,
Um,
okay.
so it's just a matter of which genre of music would you be most excited to be successful in, I guess you could
Oh,
say.
okay. I see. Okay. For that, hmm. There's two sides of this answer, right?
Sure.
I would like to be someone who can make EDM music,
Mm.
like your classic, just some electro house, so that when you go to like a big event, they know who's on the stage and they love the music.
Mm.
So like that would be awesome. That would be like, because I started DJing last year
Oh
for
wow.
fun. Yeah, not just, it's just a hobby, nothing professional. Just I got myself a little DJ controller, and I've been doing some mixes here and there, for fun.
Hmm.
And if I was a music producer and had my own songs and people would be like all over the song, it would make me so happy.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah. That would be like one side of like songs that I would like, a genre that I would love to be like famously known for. Like electro house music, it would be so awesome. But there's also the part where being a rock star, some classic rock,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you want them to know your name and they're like, oh, I can relate to this person,
Yeah.
and the classic rock scene, so far we always think about like the 70s and the 80s. You don't hear them a lot in the recent years because the new generation doesn't really listen to that.
Hmm.
So having that again would be like a shock because everyone would love it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
The new famous rock star in town that plays good classic rock songs, some very creative and good songwriting. That would be awesome. I would also love that. And also because I'm a big fan of the Beatles, that doesn't
Okay.
help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, both very decent answers for sure. I can understand the reasoning behind both. Um, so yeah, we'll definitely take that. Um, moving on, we are gonna be hopping into a bit more of some serious questions. So at any given point, you're like, I'd prefer not to really like talk on it or to give like minimal details. Feel free. You're not obligated. I'm not forcing your hand to to speak on some things. Um, but I just want to let that be known before we hop into these things right here. So
Oh,
on,
I'll answer anything regardless.
sure, sure. Um, first off, is there anything you know you stressed over a lot in the past, but you look back on it now and realize there was no reason to get that worked up?
What people think about me.
Hmm.
I honestly used to be I wouldn't say self-conscious. I haven't really been a self-conscious person, but I used to think that like get it in everyone's mind, like the way that they see me. Um, I was always like worked up, like, oh my god, they're gonna talk shit about me, or they're gonna judge me, or they're gonna do this and that. But the more I went on with life, the more I
Hmm.
grew up, the more I started to care less about that.
I see.
And I've been much happier not having to stress about what people think about me because I'm living my life. That's where I was trying to mature more.
Yeah.
Trying to be more myself because there's a point where all of my late teenage years where I didn't know like how to be more mature in a sense. I felt mature, but I was still self-conscious about what people thought about me.
Hmm.
But at this day and age, I feel much more confident and I'm stressing less about those things that were bothering me a lot when I was younger. Now I
Okay.
just live and I sometimes I obviously there's places where I'm like, okay, they're gonna judge me on this, but it doesn't hurt me as much as what it used to, in the sense that I don't pay attention as much and I don't try to stress over it.
I see. Yeah, that's. I think that's a very good thing to recognize, and I'm happy that you are concern yourself less with people's thoughts, because yeah, you're right. Um, you're living your life, so the opinions of others should affect it pretty minimally. But with that, I want to also ask, is there a fond memory that you think on in the past, and you'll likely never forget it?
Oh dear. A fond memory that I haven't forgotten. Oh, I didn't read that one. I didn't. Damn. A fond memory. Um, I like to think about the past a lot. I
Okay.
really do. And I've even went as far as to like I've made a personal video in the sense that I took clips that felt impactful to me in my past. And I made like a
Hmm.
2 hour long video of like from 2009 to 2021. And to me, it's like a time capsule, right? With all like good memories and stuff. But I've kept that so that I can see it in like 10, 15, 20 years and I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember doing this and that and I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah.
So a lot of memories I've had, I'm always thinking about them because I would say I got a decent memory. I remember a lot of stuff, a lot of pointless stuff as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the most random stuff that I remember. It's actually crazy.
Hmm.
Um, but the most fond memory per se, I think just being happy with the person I used to love. I think that's like a fond memory because, I haven't had a relationship in over like 4 years. Well,
Okay.
3 years and a half at this point. And with the last girlfriend I had, I think that was like peak happiness that I had. And since then it's been pretty lackluster. But I've always like I don't regret what happened. I
Okay.
often just like look at it and I'm like, I was happy. It's life. Whatever happened, happened. Is if it didn't work out, that's why.
Yeah.
It's life. Life decided that it shouldn't work.
Yeah. No.
But I keep like being reminded because funny enough, she's like best friend with my sister, and
Oh wow.
my
Wait.
my my mom and my sister talks to me about her even 3 years later,
Ugh.
and she apparently she kind of like still thinks about me here and there.
Hmm.
So, sometimes I think about when we were in a couple, back when we were younger, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, would I even like see myself being in the same boat again? I don't know. It's a really good way to think, Well, not a really good way to think. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's a really good train of thought to have, just to like, would it even be good at this day and age? Because I've grown,
Yeah.
so maybe it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't think that it would. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for your situation, but I too had two pretty serious relationships, and it's very easy to look back on some things with rose-colored glasses. This idea that you kind of romanticize what you guys had, um, and it's not until you get back into thick of it where you realize it's like, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense why it didn't really work out. Um, it's a lot harder to look back and be like, oh yeah, this, and this. Oh, no wonder things didn't work out. I don't think people often jump to that line of thinking. I think more often than not, people tend to look back and be like, wow, weren't those some good times? Um, so it's kind of easy, or not easy, but some people may fall into this trick of like only remembering the very good things, which um, that was kind of the case for me, which is why I'm very comfortable and content with the fact that things are done, even though sometimes I do look back. It's like, oh yeah, some of those things were good, um, because I know that even if I can't think of it right on the spot, there was a reason why it didn't work out, you know. But that's my personal take based on my personal relationship. So, yeah.
I do see. No, you do make some good points. I see what you mean by like you sometimes you got to look at the negatives that happen, during the relationship. And when I think about it, I know like what happened in the sense that there were some pretty negative stuff, and I that to that I like think to myself, would it ever occur again? And I'm like, depends. It could.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's important to try to have like a sort of unbiased perspective on some of those things because uh, you may trick yourself into only seeing one side and not the other. But maybe I'm just projecting there. On the topic of memories, though, thinking back on the past, I want to ask you, if I were to ask you, what is your most memorable achievement, or what is your biggest regret? Which one of these questions do you think you'd be more readily able to answer?
Which question I would say like right away.
Yeah, like which one comes to mind quicker, I guess you can say.
Uh, mm, I uh, it would definitely be the second one. I think like saying like this thing I regret the most. But here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't regret. I don't think about stuff that I've regretted or stuff that I've been proud of. That's like a very complicated answer because I don't acknowledge both of them.
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's fair.
remember like the last time I've been like, "Oh, I'm proud of this," or I regretted doing this.
Yeah.
I will jokingly say, "Oh, I regret buying VR." Oh, I regret buying my car, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't feel that way.
I see.
So there's nothing that I've been like excessively like proud or regret immensely.
No, that's completely fine and fair. I think if because you said that you didn't really like look at this Google Doc prior, so I don't think you saw this type of question coming. Um, it may prove to be a bit egotistical to be like, oh yeah, let me tell you about all these achievements that I that I have, and it's like something that you're able to think of like right on the spot, just because like you're maybe a bit self-absorbed. Not to say that'll be the case for anyone who's just really able to answer that question, but it could potentially be seen that way. And so I think with the way that you're saying it, with, well, I don't really tend to think about these things, I think goes to show that you are not very egocentric, which is definitely a good thing. But with the way that you responded, it really makes me how should I phrase this? With the way that you answered, I'm very excited to ask you this next question, which is, are you content with what you've done in your life so far?
Yes, and people say no, which is funny, right? I personally am content with what I did, the decision I've made,
Hmm.
but people will shit on me for everything I do and say that I'm doing the wrong moves. But to that, I just tell them, hey, listen, it's my life at the end of the day. I make my decisions.
Yeah.
I bought this piece of shit car that I very love dearly. It's costing me a fortune, but guess what? I'm not selling it. Even if it's like the 15th time you've told me to sell it, I will not. It is my baby. I've had it for 4 years. It's been a piece of garbage the whole time, but guess what? It makes good noise. It does it makes like cool noise. So I'm happy. I go to work and I'm very happy. And then I try to tell them, listen, I'm a car person. My car is literally like my dream. I love this car, and they're like, "Nah, just sell it. Just get like an old beater car, and you're gonna save fuel and stuff." And I'm like, "But no, that's not the point. Yes, it is ruining me, monetarily. Yes, it is ruining me, but it's literally like." I wouldn't go as far as to say like it's the reason why I'm still here, but I would
Hmm.
say it definitely helps me when I'm like feeling sad and I just want to go on a drive.
I see.
And it's definitely something that I wouldn't say therapy, but definitely close to therapy to
I
me.
see.
So there's decision that I've made that really struck a bad chord with my friends,
Hmm.
but overall, I think for me, it was pretty much a net positive
Okay.
overall.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you for sharing that. With the way you answered the previous question, I would have suspected that you were to have a more positive outlook on asking whether or not you are content. So yeah, I think what you said makes sense, and yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
You
Um,
don't know how many times people have told me, "Hey," I told to everyone like, "Hey, listen." When I admitted to my friend, I'm like, "Yeah, I got a VR headset," and they were like, "Oh, we accept you the way you are." And I'm deep down, I'm like, "You don't. Shut the fuck up. You don't. You're gonna find me weird because you explicitly say all those people that are on this game they're weird,
yeah,
and you're not gonna be here and say, oh, I'm not weird. I'm one of them now." Don't lie to me. You don't
yeah.
have to. My feelings are not gonna get hurt. I know I'm being weird right now. Just let me be weird. But they're never gonna admit it, and it's annoying. But
Yeah.
recently, they actually been admitting stuff,
Oh
and
wow,
especially
wait.
some weird controversial topics. Like,
Hmm.
let's not get too controversial, but let's just say that little Bluebird application.
Hmm.
I wasn't really a fan, so I was like, all right, I don't want to be here. I've deleted my account. The little Bluebird place,
Hmm.
I'm not there. And then my friend starts shitting on me for it. And I'm like, it's my decision. It's not yours. And they're like, well, you're doing it because you're jumping on the bandwagon. And I'm like, no, I'm not using it. I don't care. I'm not losing anything.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm more happy now. And they're like, no, I don't believe you. Like, oh, hey, listen, it's only me and you right now. You can't tell me the truth. I'm like, I'm telling you the truth. What else do you want? I'm
Mm.
happy. I'm more happy to not have to visit this desert of loud voices, and they're like, nah, you're just lying to yourself. And that's just one of the decisions that I've
I
made
see.
that they don't struck as good. They're
Hmm.
just like, okay, you're just a base person who just like follows trends. And I'm like, no. And even when it's not about trends, like just personal decision that I've made to make myself happier, they're just like,
Hmm.
not really, they don't really see it the way I see it. I
Hmm.
don't know. That's why sometimes I distantiate myself from them, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, you don't hang out with us anymore." I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point." They can't put two and two together.
Yeah. It's definitely sad when you can recognize that there's gonna be a separation between friends, but sometimes that separation is necessary because you see that like you're going through two lines of thinking that are just so completely different that being around them is only making you like get in a worse mood, and so you don't have to put up with that. Um, so yeah, that's unfortunate, but I mean, it seems like you have generally a good outlook on it. Um, but I want to move on and ask you another question here, um, which at this point, actually, I don't know how you would answer it. If you could change or improve one thing about yourself, what would you choose, whether this be physical or personality wise?
Uh, hmm. Am I allowed to change both?
Sure, you can choose one of each.
Uh, one of each. Oh shit. Okay, that switches the question. If we're not limited to one, because obviously, I I made the conscious decision to not care about my physical health
Hmm.
for a while, for like a good 6 years and plus, and I've never felt the effect until I started working 8 months ago.
Oh.
So since then, it's been a downfall ever since.
Hmm.
I'm increasingly getting worse, and I've always explained to my friend, listen, I know I'm eating a lot of McDonald's and stuff, but I'm conscious about it. I know it's bad, but I'm conscious. I'm doing this, and it's bad. And they're like, well, don't do it. I'm like, well, listen, I chose this. Listen, I'll eat, I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's my body, I decided this. And now that it's hitting, the effects are hitting, I'm like, okay, well, this is, I don't like feeling a little bit of fat on my stomach. This is weird. I'm sitting down. My belt doesn't fit right anymore. I don't fit in my pants. This is not fun. So I'm feeling the effects, and it's
Mhm.
really getting in my head. It's
Aw.
really hitting the self-conscious again, and it's all me. There's
Yeah.
no one else but me. So I'm very
Hmm.
conscious about what I did, and I'm the only one responsible, obviously, but I would definitely start working on that 100% to go back at least to when I started working, because I've never had fat on me anywhere, and now I'm feeling like a little bit of fat on my stomach, and I don't like this.
Yeah.
It's sad. I've been like a very skinny person my whole life except when I turned 23. Oh
Hmm.
dear. Metabolism and exercise just went down, and yeah, I'm living with the effects of that.
I
So
see.
that would be for like physical,
Yeah.
right? That was yeah, for physical. And for personality, uh I mean, I would like to be, because you hear me speak right now, and I can sound either professional or comfortable, right? But when it comes to just small talks or just trying to talk to other people that I'm less comfortable with, I don't know what to say.
Hmm.
And oftentimes, subjects of conversations are pretty dull. So I would like to be able to just speak at anyone without any issues. I don't know if that's considered like a personality trait, but I would definitely like be able to speak more proper.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely counts as that. Yeah. Um, to put it inside of a word, I don't think is really there. Just like more sociable, more extroverted. It's some mixture of these types of ideas. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
It's hard to like try to explain that, because I feel like I'm easy to talk to people,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I'll usually initiate topics and stuff, especially on VRChat where I'm gonna go and talk to people a lot. I will initiate conversation. I'm not afraid of that. But sometimes with some people I just can't. It's just it's not even like a question of compatibility. It's just that I just genuinely don't know how to start like small talks to just try to get it to a higher degree,
Hmm. No. Okay. No, that makes sense. That's fair enough. Um, we're winding down with like the last couple of our serious questions here. I got a few hypotheticals to end things off. So this might be one of the last of like my actual serious questions with this. Um, and that is me asking you, would you consider yourself religious, or were you raised in a religious household?
I was raised in a religious household, and I'm not religious anymore. Or I
Hmm.
don't think I've ever was. I was probably like more so try to comply with my parents because they're very Christian,
Hmm.
and I don't buy it. I I don't want to be controversial. I don't buy it myself, I personally, for me, it's not my thing, right? I don't really think about that. I don't think about religion. And some people would say I'm an atheist. I guess that's a definition of what I am. I don't know. I don't care about religion at all. Like, to me it's like I don't think about it, basically. There's a
Okay.
lot of things outside of religion I just don't think about it, like opinions on people or subjects or stuff. But religion is like one of those where I'm like, I don't think about it. And when
Okay.
I
I
hear
see.
my mom say like, "Oh, oh, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but some, oh, God is here for us and stuff. I'm just like, well, not really. He's not here. It's not gonna do anything. If I and sometimes when there's like a winter summer, my mom's like, oh, uh, oh yeah, somebody had a crash, and it's like, oh, God was there to save them. No,
Mm.
the car like derailed, and like did a fucking barrel roll, but God was not there to like push the car outside of the traffic. The car
Yeah.
and the nature did that. It's not like an entity that's above us. So
Mm.
I don't know about religion. It's a very controversial topic, but I personally am not interested
Okay.
in that.
With the way that you said that it's generally something that you not think about, I don't know if it's really worth the discernment, but just because I'm curious, um, an atheist would say that 100% there is not a god, while an agnostic is more in the camp of I don't know. It's more this middle of the road type of idea. So would you say that you're more inclined to actively say there certainly is no god, or this middle of the road where you're like, I'm not sure?
100% no God.
Okay.
Straight to the point. I don't think there's a God.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, then yeah, you definitely fall more into the atheism camp. But I only bring it up because some people are definitely more agnostic, but they don't really know that they are. um, but yeah, I just wanted to make sort of that clarification. So in that sense, I want to also ask, did you feel like really uncomfortable growing up when your parents kind of like forced this on you, or was it just one of those things where you went through the motions and now that you're an adult, it's kind of whatever?
I mean, it didn't bother me as much when I was young, cause I mean, the thing that pisses me the most was going to church on a Sunday at 11 a.m.
Hmm.
So that would annoy me a lot because half the time I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had to like go on my knees on the little steppy thingy, and then I gotta stand up, and then I gotta go down on my knees again, and then I gotta close my eyes. I gotta think about some dumbass shit. I was thinking about like my fucking Cars game on my Game Boy Advance. You know, I wasn't thinking about like a speech to say my mind.
Yeah.
And then oh my god, we gotta walk around and eat some things that you can get at the grocery store for like $2 for a box. And I was like, oh well, that's kind of cool. But then it would get like stuck in my mouth. I was trying to get it out. I just, god damn. So to me, I don't know. It felt more of something that was annoying to
Mm.
have to be part of in
Yeah.
my childhood. Even though my parents were really, really religious and they like, oh, God is here for things and that.
Yeah.
To me, it was like, oh, I just want to play video games. Just leave me alone. I don't want to go to church. I don't want to wake up on a Sunday at 10 a.m. just to get ready and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta wear some fancy clothes and stuff. So no, to me, I kind of derailed, but basically they were imposing it on me, but at a very young age, I would say like 12, 13, I was already at the point where I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to church
Mm.
anymore.
I see.
I'm not going to church, and yeah, I don't care about this.
Yeah. And did they handle that well at least at that
No,
time? Oh.
no. They they every time even at this day,
Yeah.
I'm 24 and I still confront them about it.
Yeah.
And you always have like this sour reaction where they're just like,
Mm.
it's never like they're not gonna say anything, but they know how I'm thinking. They know what I'm thinking about it, and they don't like it.
I see. No, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I'm definitely it's definitely interesting to see how like different people like grew up and their perspective on that stuff cuz um yeah, some people like they were raised in religious households and it's like it didn't really affect them. It wasn't like super imposed on them. Other people it's like yeah, it was kind of like shoved down their throat. Um and so yeah. And it sucks because as a kid, you don't have a say in that sort of stuff. So it definitely it hits people differently. So
Yeah,
anyway,
you really don't. You can't do anything about it. Like I was forced to do my fucking what is it? So you do your oh, I don't know the two things, but you got like the first step, which is like the first communion. I don't know if that's the same in English. And then you have to do your confirmation,
Oh,
like basically saying like you're you're I don't even know what it is anymore. Uh I forgot what it is.
yeah, I'm a little
Uh
unfamiliar myself because those types of things were, well, not to say that it's exclusive, but Catholicism, at the very least here, is the one who practices more like a ritual type of shenanigans. They're more uh, uh, they put a lot more importance on like specific actions. While the way I was raised was like a Protestant Christian, where I mean, every once in a while we took communion, but even something like baptism wasn't something that like we took too seriously. Though we did end up going through with it. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not. I can't say that I'm familiar myself.
I mean just for the just it's like you got a first communion. I guess that would be the English word
Hmm.
to say it. And then you got your confirmation. So the first communion, you gotta do some stuff, and then you're like you go in a ceremony,
Oh, okay.
and I guess it's not like when you get baptized, but it's like a certain ritual, I guess. And then confirmation is basically like, yeah, you're Christian now. You're a confirmed Christian boy or girl, or whatever, non-binary, I don't care. But you're basically like become uh Christian fully. I don't even know what it means, but
Yeah.
you get that. And that was so the first communion was like at 8 to 10 years old, I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure, and then the after that was like at 11 or 12. I think that was the confirmation. I'm pretty sure I've got the dates wrong, but or years, but that's around that time. And since then, god damn, I don't care. I'm kind of sad that I had to go through it because it was just like I was playing hockey, so I had to do like hockey practices and
Hmm.
also do jujitsu and also go to the church. It was using all my time, and it wasn't. I dropped everything, every sports. I dropped hockey. I dropped jujitsu because I'm just a yellow belt in jujitsu.
Mm.
I dropped that. I dropped hockey because I hated practice. Well, that's different. I wanted to play video games, so I dropped hockey for video games.
Oh, okay, okay.
But and church, well, I had to go through obviously because parents
Hmm.
forced me. You know.
Yeah. Okay, no, thank you for sharing though. I definitely was not aware. That's like actually the first time I've ever heard of confirmation. The idea of that seems really strange. What is a ceremony to say, oh, now you're confirmed? That definitely feels like it's something more on the individual to decide that. But, I mean, different sects of religion have their different practices, and it is what it is. But yeah, thank you for sharing.
Hey, you're welcome. I've quickly looked at a definition. It's they're like talking about like a form of baptism, I
oh,
guess, when you become an adolescent, but they're also contradicting themselves when they say that. I don't know what they're trying to say. It's like a yeah, it's basically confirmation has meaning only as a gesture which completes baptism, which finishes in a certain way
hmm.
what was begun with a gesture of water. Okay, so it's not the rite of passage in adolescence. It's just that completing that baptize, um, uh, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Um, Guaco says I had to do my first communion too. I remember thinking it was boring. Yeah, my parents told me that I was baptized. I have no memory of it. I, maybe I
Oh,
thought
well,
it.
you were young. You were like a little baby when you were
No,
baptized.
no,
So
no, no, no. I didn't have the baptism as a baby thing. I got it when I was like, I don't know, in between like 9 and 11, somewhere in those ages. They told me that I was baptized, and I'm like, dude, no recollection of that.
yeah. Well, so you had some water like thrown on your front,
I think it
your
was like in a
forehead.
pool. I'm pretty confident it was in a pool because I kind of remember when my sister got baptized. I don't know if I did it in the exact same spot as her or the same like church, same location, whatever. Um, but yeah, like I kind of remember
In the
hers very
pool.
vaguely, but no recollection of mine in the slightest. Maybe they did something to me.
I don't know. In a pool. That's confusing.
Yeah, just one of those things where it's more so like a ceremonial type of thing, less than like the actual. It's like, oh, it needs to be like in this flowing river type of thing. It's like, well, I don't know. It could be done elsewhere. It's the same thing where it's like, a church doesn't need to be this grand structure with these pews and this preacher on a pedestal. A church could be literally someone's home. The definition of it is just as long as there's 4 walls and a congregation of followers, then I am in that place. And so you can consider like my apartment a church if I just so happen to keep it a regular thing. It's like I want to invite some friends over and we have a certain time set aside for it. It's like then this apartment technically also works as a church. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, baptism can happen like in a pool, in a river, in whatever. And I feel like a more lax approach to a lot of those things is necessary as we develop in these modern times. But anyway, that was me going on a tangent. Anyway, anyway, I got some final hypotheticals for you here.
All right.
Let me start with something light. Well, I mean, maybe not, but let's see here. Your partner has been kidnapped, so let's just say sometime in the future you have a significant other.
Partner?
Yep. Your partner has been kidnapped, and they're being held at a location 30 minutes away. You're driving over to rescue them. It's a warm night, and your windows are down. Do you listen to music on your drive over there? Yes or no?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I cannot. Okay, if I just sit in silence,
yeah,
I'm just gonna overthink, and I'm gonna think about the worst possible outcome. But if I put music, a very quiet music, just enough to break the silence, just enough to like. It's basically a form of meditation, right? You listen to a very quiet but audible piece of musical art, and then you just think, how do I execute this, right? How will I be able to make this situation like the best outcome?
Yeah.
So you drive, you don't have to drive fast, because if you drive fast, you're gonna get more nervous.
Yeah.
So you drive at a reasonable rate. I'm not saying you should go over the speed limit, all right, cops. Let me just saying. But if urgent situation calls for urgent, Yeah. So, yeah, definitely listen to a bit of music because you're just gonna psych yourself out. 100%.
I see. Sure. No, reasonable answer. I like it. Let me move on to this one, a bit more serious here. If you and your best friend were tied to 2 separate train tracks and the train was headed for you, but your arm can barely reach a lever to switch the train to hit them instead, do you pull it?
You can see it both ways, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the appropriate and the right answer would be you. In any case and scenario, it would be you. You would take the bullet for someone else. But what if you take the other one? How would society see it? How do people think about it? Well, you're selfish and stuff. But at the same time, you're the one in control. I guess you can be a hero, but what if I want to live? I haven't finished my young ages. I wanna go on a road trip. No, listen, I would not be if my friend would die right beside me. I don't think I would be mentally okay for my life. So I don't know. What if I just like have superpowers and I stop the train and then we just like just go on our way and like just leave the train there? Because it just sucks. There's no right answer to this. Well, I mean there's a logical answer, but there's no right answer because someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
And the other person's gonna witness it, and the other person's gonna be fucked up for life. So whichever one you pick, at the end of the day, well, I mean, I do have the decision, so then I have the responsibility, and I hate having a responsibility like that. God damn it, I don't want to pick. I want to live, but at the same time, I don't want to feel the guilt. I don't. So it's hard for me to push the lever.
Yeah.
It is. It would be pretty hard.
Yeah. No. Fair. It's definitely a hard question to answer. One silly response we were talking about at a different that a different person was brought up was like what if like we like finagled the lever to where like it didn't completely switch sides, it's like kind of like halfway, and you kind of just hope that it derails.
Oh, well, that's smart, but I see that would be smart until it derails and you both die. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
fucking sad. You go
Yeah.
all the way to the effort to just try to save yourself, and then you just whoop, you died.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're hoping for the best. You're hoping because if we think about like I don't know what it's called, you know, the rail track situation,
Yep.
but obviously you're on the right side. If you look at an image, and then there's like the main track is on the right, and then it can swivel to the left to go to the second track. Well, if you try to derail it as it's going left, it's just gonna derail left and then fall on its side and just kill both.
Right.
That's the way I would see it. There's no way it would like go out the other way. You're gonna die in a more both of you are gonna die if you're gonna try to derail.
Yeah, possibly.
You gotta find some way to stop it. You just gotta find someone to stop it. I mean, if you know, okay, so, there's also that, right? How far is the train? How long have you been there? Hey, if you've been there for a while and the train is far, hey, you can probably call for some help. I don't know. You could do something.
I see.
Hey, what if the train is late that day?
You know,
there's a lot of variable.
You're bringing up a lot of good points here, you know, because, you know, there's some details that are not really given with this question. So it makes sense that you're thinking about it the way you are. This next question, though, is very specific, so you're gonna have to just take it for what it is, right?
All right.
And that question is this: if I was a sickly peasant boy designated by the aristocracy to carry messages back and forth for mere pennies, and you found me outside the city walls with a deep wound in my chest from a musket ball and a letter clutched in my hand, what would you do if I told you that my last dying wish was to have someone read the letter to me so I know that I died for something important? But when you open it, you find a single large illustration diagram of an onion. Would you tell me what it was? What would you say to me?
I would look at okay, so I open the letter, I see the onion. First reaction, I'm gonna have a double take. I'm gonna look at you. You're gonna laugh because you know what you did. You're gonna laugh hysterically, and I'm gonna be like, you piece of shit, and you're gonna laugh, and you're gonna be like, what? Well, that's my dying wish, right? And I'm just like, all right, listen, what do you want me to do with this? And you're just gonna be like, well, it's there, just think about it yourself, and then you just die, right? And then now I'm here contemplating my life because I see an onion in my face, and it doesn't say anything else. So I don't know what to say to your family. I'm gonna have to go see your family, and I'm gonna be like, yes, so your son, you know, he added a little last message for you guys, and he specifically wanted me to see it, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. So, you know, as a goodbye letter, he left us an onion, and I don't think your family was gonna be like, no, actually they're gonna be very emotional because maybe the onion has like a bigger story, you know, it has like a spot in the story, right? Maybe that was like you hated that, and your parents kept like annoying you with onions in the sense that, oh, they would put in your meal and you're like, no, I don't want the onions, and then it's like they're running gag in the family about the onions, right? So maybe it has more of a sentimental value. So,
see, but
if that's the case,
I'm just the messenger here. So I didn't know what was in that letter to begin with. I was just delivering this message for mere pennies. But now suddenly someone shot me in the fucking chest, and I'm like, dude, what the hell did I just die for? You know?
Oh, so it's not like your last wish. Is that what you're trying to say?
And my last wish is just to know what it was that I died for.
Oh, well, in that regards, okay, so, okay, that's different. I thought it would be like your letter that you wanted me to like show to everyone. Okay, if in that context where you want to know what it is, and you're dying to know, okay, that's even more interesting because there's a lot of ways I can go about this. I can be a douchebag and just be like, you want to know? So sad. You're not gonna know.
Wow, wait.
But at the same time, I could be like, be upfront, right? Honest communication. Boom. Here's a page. You see it, and then you just die peacefully. Or you could, and you'd be like, okay, it's just an onion, and then you die. But I could, be like, nah, it's not important. And you might not believe me, and I might have to live with the fact that you don't believe me.
Yeah,
that you didn't believe me at your last breath,
Yeah.
But it'd be funny to just tell you it's an onion, and you'd be like, I don't trust you, and I'm like, oh, right, you've known me, or you don't know me, but hey, it's an onion. I'm telling you, you don't need to see it. It's not worth.
Not worth.
So
No.
for
Not worth.
So for like the comedic value, I would be like, you don't need to see it.
So you're gonna keep my last few moments alive in a very lighthearted. Try to keep it jovial. Okay, I respect it. I respect.
Yeah, you don't want to die sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would make sure that you're happy until your eyes close and they don't open.
Yeah, sure. Yo, fair enough. Okay, not bad. Decent answer. And with that, we are done. We have went through the questions. So once again, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Thanks for answering what I had for you. And if I ever do something similar in the future, you're more than welcome to try to join up on that if time or scheduling permits.
Hey man, thank you for having me. I had a blast. I really like called it last minute because I was like worried if I was gonna be able to make it, but I said hell yeah, I just want to be part of it because I love talking on one-on-ones. It's where I shine the most, and I was like, I want to have this opportunity to be able to like have these like maybe people they've seen me around but they just don't know who I am, and maybe they were like curious and stuff. I'm a curious person myself, so I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well maybe people would potentially like to hear me talk. But yeah, I'm happy that I was here, and I want to thank you for bringing me on the stage, even though I was very nervous.
Yeah, no problem. I think you did a-okay. No nervousness was sensed in my ears at the very least. So yeah, it was a good time. Thanks for being here. But for now, I shall say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. All right, fair winds, friend. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll catch you again. Bye-bye.